Hey everyone, Austin Schur here with We Write About Music. And today I'm here speaking with Camilo Eckstein Gomez, who is much better known as Camilo EG. Released yesterday on April 2nd, his debut EP, Spark and Gasoline, is out, and it is pretty remarkable, I have to say. Camilo, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here as well.
How are you doing? What's going on in your life? How's
Yeah,
post-release life treating you?
I'm doing really well. I'm here in San Diego, California, enjoying the
Nice.
sunny weather right by the beach.
I'm from San Diego. Where are you from?
Oh, right on. I live in Encinitas right now.
Oh, nice. I'm from like the Rancho Bernardo area.
Oh, nice. I used to live in Rancho Penasquitos, so that was right
I
by
was
there.
gonna say Rancho Penasquitos, but no one knows that. Yeah, that's exactly where I'm from.
Oh, awesome.
That's
I
crazy.
was uh, by Carmel Valley Road or something of that sort.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
remember. It's been a little bit. I've been in LA now for about 10 years, but love San Diego and I definitely miss the food.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome, especially the tacos.
Oh, the tacos.
Yeah.
Enough about tacos though. Let's talk about this music. So obviously Spark and Gasoline has been out for a day now. How are you feeling post release? Do you feel like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders?
Absolutely. It's an incredible feeling. It's about a year and 5 months worth of writing, production,
Damn.
and now it's the marketing. I'm promoting the album and the music, and I just want people to hear it because I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm happy to hear it, to be honest. And anything that went, over a year of time and like you can really tell audibly that like there was a lot of love and care that went into it.
Thank
And I
you.
gotta say, I listen to a lot of music, but it was definitely one of the more original pieces of music that I've heard in a while. There's a ton of different genre influences going on, seem to be never ending, but at the same time, like it all flows together so well. Would you kind of mind breaking down what all is featured in here as far as genre goes?
For sure. It starts off with Wrought Iron, which is a spoken word piece.
Hmm.
It's me speaking over a very somber piano. And then that track leads off to Bliss Reborn, which is very heavy metal. And it's the first time I've ever screamed like that in any recording.
Right.
I didn't know I could do that. And I just did it. And it was a lot of fun in the studio. And those are sort of like my Metallica influences with that one, and then it goes into Night and Day, which people have said it's my rock opera, sort of like my
Yeah.
version of an epic. It's a duet that I do with Lauren Wilson, who also lives here in Encinitas,
Nice.
and I love that track. It's sort of more of a rock opera, kind of retro Americana kind of song, and that dwells right into Home, which is sort of my version of a folk song, but it's definitely inspired by Bruce Springsteen, by that sort of storytelling uh, genre, heartland rock, and then it dwells into Victory March, which is a little bit more psychedelic, a little bit more experimental, but there's also some '90s alternative rock influences in that as well.
Beautiful. Yeah, I was gonna say for any type of music lover, like they can find something on here that they'll enjoy. Not not being a familiar, considering this was your debut release, sort of. I was a bit taken off, by the spoken word. I wasn't sure what I was getting into. But as soon as that finished and went into the second track and it kind of just like opened up and breathed, it's like, yeah, okay, this is going to be something special. And it definitely was. Um, but I'm glad that you brought up Lauren. I wanted to talk about her a little bit. She's the only feature on the record. Who is she to you? How did you get her to do this? Because what you guys did on that track is really beautiful.
Awesome, thank you. I actually met Lauren through Instagram. We
Beautiful. There you go.
we had mutual friends, and over the summer, I believe it was last year, we were doing small get-togethers, or
Hmm.
but I was never included when she was there, vice versa.
Okay.
But I saw her in the group, and I was looking for a female counterpart for this song, and I noticed that she was a vocalist, and she had videos uploaded in her page, in her
Mm.
Instagram page, and I thought she's got a beautiful voice. She would be a great compliment to my sort of forceful, operatic, more edgier kind of sound. And I sought her out. I sent her the demo of the song, which was just me playing the song in an acoustic guitar in my kitchen.
Oh, okay.
I recorded that, and I call those the kitchen demos. I had them for
That should
all
be
the songs,
another EP of its own.
right?
There you go.
And I sent her that. We met up in a park here in Encinitas. I played the song several times with her, and she blew me away. She picked up on the melody. She knew how to sing the lyrics, how to evoke the emotions,
Right.
and it was a wonderful thing. And then I asked her to come with me in the studio, Pacific Beat Recording in La Jolla, and the producer is Alan Sanderson, who's worked with Madonna, Elton John, the Rolling Stones, U2. And I had met him about a month prior because he told me he'd worked on a song called Frozen, which is off Ray of Light from Madonna's album. And I love that song.
Yeah.
And I said, this is perfect because that song is really inspirational to me. I'll work with you. And then I heard sort of Lauren's voice having that type of sound mixed in with my sort of rock opera Queens of the Stone Age type of thing. And it came together beautifully.
Yeah, I found that she brought a really nice balance to what you were bringing in the song as well. Like you'd go high and it would like meet in the middle. It was really nice. I want to expand a little bit on the production side of things though. First off, do you have any production experience, and did you leave it to the professionals in this situation of kind of getting this thing mastered and everything?
So I don't have production experience. I've always tinkered with GarageBand in my laptop, but that doesn't really make me a professional, more of an amateur person who's interested in production.
Yeah.
So I really learned a lot about the process. For example, triple tracking on the vocals, the different ways that you could record. For example, I worked with two producers, Chris Town of Capricorn Studios and Alan Sanderson of Pacific Beat Recording. Alan records things live. So night and day, what you heard was the band playing live. That was essentially a live rendition that we got into record. Whereas with Chris Town, we did things more piece by piece, drums, guitars, vocal track 1, vocal track 2. We're going to harmonize with yourself. We're going to go low here or high here. So I learned a lot from those two very different approaches.
I want you to talk about the band a little bit too. I assume this wasn't all you making all those noises, right? Okay, so actually, please introduce them because they did an amazing job.
Absolutely. James East is a sick bass player. Okay. And he played bass on Night and Day and Bliss Reborn. And then I had Corey Horn play drums, and it was Night and Day. It was that song. And then I had Ryan Hankey play drums on Home. I had Damon De La Paz play drums on Victory March. And he toured with Blink-182 about 20 years ago. And I didn't know that till later, which was quite awesome.
That's awesome, especially being a San Diego native. That's
absolutely.
Yeah.
So there was Ryan Hankey on drums, and then on guitar, on bass guitar as well was Chris Town, who was the producer for Home and Victory March. Actually, Victory March, Home, and Wrought Iron. So he did play bass on Victory March, and the bass synth on Home. Home doesn't have a bass guitar; it's a bass synth.
Oh, okay.
So I play guitar in Home, but really the guitar star of this is Greg Montante. He is an amazing musician. He would interpret my melodies, the chord structures that I would provide to him, and he would just take it to another level and really explore the guitar with it. It was amazing to see him just take my music and explode it, just blow it up into something else. He was incredible. And of course, we just spoke about her, Lauren, and she really brought that track to life and gave it another dimension. And I'm so happy she was there to contribute to the project. And I will definitely work with her in the future.
Definitely. I want to check out some of her solo stuff if any of it exists. So definitely be doing some research on that end. So I also want to know, what order did you work on this in? Like, do you timetable your experiences? You know, do you work on one song at a time, or does it kind of, inspiration on one or another?
So I was trained as a graphic designer, and as a designer, I like to focus on a project.
Got it.
Therefore, I hyper focused on every song. When I worked on home, I worked on home, and I really
Okay.
structured the production process with that. We would go into the studio to do instrumental tracks for home only, and then we would return to do the vocals for home only, and I would live in the world of home. And then once we were done with the mix and a master, then I would move forward to another song, and that's actually how I've marketed things as well. Of
Hmm.
this is home. I'm going to tell you all about home, and all of this week we're going to talk about this track, which will be in my EP called Home.
Right.
So I really encapsulate each individual track.
Got it. Well, I have never created an original piece of music in my life, but if I was to, I would go that route too. I feel like you could just kind of be all over the place and lose focus on something. So good on you for for going that route, or that's how your brain works at least.
Thank you. And something else just came to mind. There is an electric guitar in Home,
Okay.
that is played by Dan Powell, who was my
Nice.
volleyball coach for a long time.
No
So
way.
I didn't want to forget
Did you
about
just
that.
ask him? You're just like, hey, old coach, want to get in on
He
this track?
actually um, we played volleyball for the longest time, and
Mhm.
once the pandemic caused things to close down, he said we should do some guitar or some music stuff together. I know you like to sing and play, and I said, well, actually, I would love for you to come into the studio and learn the song and sort of pitch
Awesome.
in.
And he
So
was
I
like,
didn't want to
yeah,
forget about that.
I'm in. No, I'm sure he'll appreciate that.
Hmm.
All right. So obviously this is your first release here, and I don't want to rush to the future too fast. But do you have any idea of what direction you'd like to take afterwards for this?
Yes, I do. So I
Okay.
would like to take a less retro modern, more contemporary approach in the next piece. I would definitely like to introduce some electronic uh, sort of musical components to the music with
Okay.
certain beats and such. Um, I didn't know that I was making such a retro sound. I had no idea. It's sort of my influences
Hmm.
came through,
Well,
and then that's
retro as in what though? Like, I wouldn't classify it as super retro. I mean, it definitely has some elements, but I don't know, what do you mean?
I was given that feedback a lot because of the long intros in a few of the songs, and that's Led Zeppelin, Metallica. I
Sure.
listened to songs of that nature which had just long intros and sort of the very poppy choruses with a more kind of a heavy verse structure.
Okay.
I didn't know that would be considered kind of a more 90s, 80s, early 2000s take on songwriting. But then I thought, well, that makes a ton of sense considering my influences.
True. Okay. You know what? Maybe not such a bad piece of criticism then. Which actually kind of brings me to my next thing here. Were there any key artists or specific albums in your life that inspired you to take this path as a musician?
So there was one album, and it's not a well-known album by this artist because it wasn't released through his band. So in the mid 90s or 1997, John Bon Jovi released Destination Anywhere,
Hmm.
which is my favorite album by him. And even considering the band's output, it's a very honest album that focuses on storytelling, and that album in itself had a very deep impact on my songwriting for this.
Okay. I've never heard of it. I mean, I've obviously heard of him, but I'll have to check out the record. When you went
Mhm.
into creating this, though, did you have that in the back of your mind as something to sort of base your sound on, or were you trying to create something completely new?
It wasn't a sonic inspiration.
Hmm.
it was more of a, it was a lot of lyrical inspiration and just general kind of energetic inspiration. I feel that that album is really pure and very honest, and I love it just as much today as it did 12, 13 years ago when I first listened to it.
Awesome.
So it was more of that feeling that that album gave me for the love of music that really inspired me to go forth with my love of music.
I love that. So, how do you go about creating a song? What comes first? Is it a bass line, a guitar riff, a vocal line?
So I have a very structured approach to songwriting, and
Hmm.
that's just based on what I know. So
Got it.
everything starts with the guitar, with the instruments. I literally just sit with my guitar and just start playing with it. And then as I start discovering melodies, chord progressions, patterns, I start humming to it. And then I remember it, I memorize it. This is about a 10, 20-minute process. And then I think, "Well, this is a really interesting piece." After I stop humming, I think of words to fit into that humming melody. And I think of what kind of emotion I have for that day. So, for example, Bliss Reborn is the second version of a song called Bliss. And that song, Bliss Reborn, is a very victorious sounding song.
Hmm.
But Bliss, originally, the lyrics were more down. It feels like I'm falling forever. I'm still searching for the ground. So I just started doing that. And once I figure out where I want to take the song lyrically, then it sort of guides me to create the rest of the music. So once I have that acoustic guitar version of the song and I'm satisfied with the way that my voice sounds with it, uh, what I then do, or in this particular project, I sent the recordings of my demos, my kitchen demos, to the producers.
Right.
Um, in the Alan Sanderson scenario, I would I would leave the musicians open to interpret the song on the spot. So, for example, on Night
Okay.
and Day, we wrote the electric full band version of that song as we recorded it. We didn't get
That's
together and
amazing.
decide this is how it's going to go. We we figured it out as we played it, and we
Hmm.
were recording it as we played it.
I like that though, because it brings like a true emotion to it instead of, bringing something in that you were necessarily feeling at the moment. I feel like your instinct kind of comes in and just you're playing what you think fits and what is right. That is a
Absolutely.
great way to do it. I love that.
And that song has a lot of energy, and that energy came from the studio. I remember for during Night and Day and Bliss in particular, we were running around the studio, jumping up and down, laughing, just thinking, how did we create such energy? Because
That's awesome.
when you hear a song like that in the studio with these massive speakers and
Yeah.
it's just blowing your hair off, can't help but smile.
Well, now I need the behind the scenes documentary, man.
Oh, that's coming.
Oh, are you
Sure.
serious?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it's all
Right.
in here, but it's all in the process, in the plans.
I'll keep an eye out for sure. All right, so tell me this. What do you enjoy the most about being a creative and an artist?
I love to create things that were not there before. I just
Mm,
love to bring something to this world that didn't exist, and I love that people can interpret that. Uh, I remember when I was in a park a little while ago, a friend of mine had told me, "Listen, I love your song Home. I learned it on the guitar, and I didn't teach it to her. I don't have the chord sheet out in the internet.
sure.
She just taught it to herself. She learned it, and she
Oh,
said she
wow.
enjoyed it. So that's what I love, to make something that didn't exist before that could then be reinterpreted by someone else
Mhm.
and hopefully help inspire them to make something of their own.
That's amazing. Like that
And
has to be so inspiring for you as an artist to like have someone love what you make so much and then try to play it back to you.
I love it. I love it. And when I heard Lauren sing Night and Day for the first time, that's how I felt. That's my melody. but it's not my voice,
Sure.
but I still love it.
Yeah. All right. What do you think your music says about you?
Um, I think it says that I'm highly emotional.
Hey,
um,
nothing wrong with that.
Highly emotional, uh, a bit dramatic, flashy, and ultra layered.
Okay.
There are a lot of layers to those songs.
Got it. And so, with the eventual return of live music, which looks like it's happening a little quicker than normal in California, at least,
Mhm.
uh, I feel that this EP deserves to be played live. Is there any possibility of a mini tour or a local tour happening?
So there's definitely going to be a San Diego tour happening in the
Okay,
beginning of
sure.
the different venues here. I still have to put the band together. I
Right.
know a lot of musicians, but I have to figure out what combination of people
Hmm.
will best uh, capture the energy that's from the record.
Yeah.
Because right before the pandemic, and I had some draft versions of these songs um, recorded. I did play some in open mics, but that was just me and the guitar.
Hmm. Oh,
And
it's
the thing
completely
is,
different.
it's
Yeah.
clearly different. I can do that. I could do that today, tomorrow, but I really want a band
Yeah.
experience to bring to people. So that is happening this year.
Nice. See, the thing is, I think musicians are itching just to get out and get playing. So I don't think you're going to have a problem finding those who can, match the energy that you're looking for.
I think so as well.
Nice. And so, I know that there's only 5 songs here, and I know that they're all your babies. But if you had to pick one of them to perform, which would it be?
Bliss Reborn is
Okay.
one where I picture me throwing a mic stand all over the place, jumping up and down, running through the stage, off the stage into the crowd. Um, that's what I envision. And
I
also
love that.
night and day singing that live with Lauren. That would be quite amazing.
That'd be cool. I'm sure she would agree to get up on stage with you.
Hmm.
And I feel like after a year of pent up energy and just so much bullshit happening all at once, like everyone deserves to throw a mic around. So you should do that.
Oh, absolutely. Actually, my mic stand is called Hercules
Oh,
because it's made to be thrown around. It's a
there you
really
go.
tough mic stand.
That's awesome. All right, man. Well, I've only got a couple more for you. But this is a question that I really like to ask, and I'd like to hear the honest answer. What are some goals that you've set for yourself, musical or not, for 2021?
So 2021, I want to play the material live with
Sure.
a band. Not only play it live for people, but I want to professionally record at least one performance to bring out to the world for those who can't see it live here in San Diego. I would like to get some behind the scenes footage into what we're doing.
Hmm.
Um, and I have actually already begun the writing process for the next project. I already have the
Oh,
title of that
damn.
EP in mind, and I already have the first 2 songs sort of the structure is set for that
Hmm.
piece. So I definitely want to play live, record at least one of those live performances, and finish the writing process for the next project.
That sounds like a pretty busy year, man. My
That's sort of
God.
the way I roll.
That's okay. Hey, man, that was not a negative. Good for you for getting on it and like keeping it going forward. I feel like music is all about momentum these days. You have a successful release, and people are automatically they don't care about it anymore, and they just want to look towards the future and what's next. So, good on you for
Absolutely.
keeping it up. Okay, what message would you like to pass off to the first time listener?
There's a diversity of music here, of styles.
Hmm.
Listen to the vocals and the way the lyrics are delivered. The lyrics are really important to my music. I was really more of a poet before I was a singer or even a musician. So the lyrics are very vital to the way the song is meant to be interpreted. But you interpret it as you wish.
Sure.
Just take it all at once and pay attention to every single detail.
I love that. All right, man. It has been a super pleasure speaking with you. Last thing I want to, kind of have you discuss here is where can people find your music and where can they follow you?
So people can find my music in Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, Deezer, Tidal, on YouTube,
Basically everywhere is my
everywhere.
guess.
I know that I've pushed music to over 50 global stores.
Oh,
I
hell yeah.
only recognize about 10 of them, but
Doesn't matter.
literally wherever music is
Yeah.
streamed, you will find my music. You can go to my website, which is camiloeg.com.
Sweet.
I engage with my fans daily with through Instagram, which is camiloeg.music.
Perfect. All right, Camilo, thank you so much for taking the time. I will continue to be listening to this today. I mean, we're talking in the morning right now, but it's a full day left for music listening, and I'll definitely have it on repeat. Thank you, seriously, for taking the time.
Thank you. And one final shout out.
Please,
I
please.
forgot one more, and I can't forget this one. Cam Moreau played piano and wrought iron, and he's amazing.
Okay.
That's all I got to say.
Hell yeah. Perfect thing to wrap up on. Awesome.
Perfect.
All right, man. Take care and have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you
Thank you.
soon.
You as well.
All right. Later,
Perfect.
man.
Bye bye.
Bye.